Hey. Hey. How is everybody? Happy New Year. Y'all got to be excited tonight, okay? Y'all
I'm very excited.
Give us some energy. Thank you.
You know what's missing? The clappers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You look like, you know, you've been at the hospital a couple of days.
So, I do want to start by that. I'm glad y'all are all here. Candy and I have had I've had really rough few days. I've been at the hospital for the last 3 days with my dad. But, you know, it's an emotional situation for Candy and I both. So, you know, I had posted on our Facebook feed just a little while ago, right before you came, that I publicly didn't post on Facebook for a purpose, because this is what's going on with my father, and I feel that that is his thing to share the major details of it. However, I did post it on our page because I wanted everybody to understand the serious nature of it and why it's hard, and for y'all to please pray, because we believe in the power of prayer. And we know our dad's going to be fine. But you know, when you love somebody and all of a sudden health issues start coming in, and they come in swarming the way they have over the last 9 months with him, it's hard. And you know, we could have easily canceled tonight and just sat around and cried together. But you know what? Life goes on. And the way we look at it, we need y'all too. Y'all aren't just business people with us. We all consider each other family. And so that's why we continue this tonight, because we love all of y'all and we need that support too. So thank y'all for being here. Okay? And I'm not going to say much more because I will be in a puddle of tears. So we're going to move on.
I didn't bother to put my makeup because I was like,
so if my eyes look funky and I'm a little scattered and there's a lot of things that I forgot tonight, that is why. Okay? So I'll just forgive us. That's right, because this is just jewelry business, right? It's not like we're the CEO of a major company.
Nobody's performing surgery tonight.
It's all right. Okay. So anyway, well, thank y'all for coming. We are excited. The purpose of tonight is really about getting organized, and I know that several of you attended Rally and already got so much good training. But we like to kick off January with getting organized, because if you are like me, I look at it as a fresh start, not only to the year, but for my life and everything in it, that I get another chance. Okay? Even though it's just another day, it's a new start. So we want to get y'all as organized as possible for you, because that's most people's downfall. You think you're not organized enough, so you can't do your business. Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't have to have an organized business to do this business. You need to do your business so you have a business organized. Okay? If that makes sense. Now, so what we're going to do is I want to introduce everybody, because we have a lot of new faces in here, new jewelers, new members to our family. So this is Christy. Hey, hi. She's not new. She's been here. But anyways, I do have a brand new baby. This is Beverly. Say hi, Beverly.
Hi, Beverly.
Her training show is next week, and ironically, my dad referred me to Beverly, and she had such a great show, she decided she wanted to do this with us.
nice.
Yeah, so we have Beverly here, and Sam, I think, is Candy Sam? Is she no, you were here last month too, okay, but you're a new jeweler. I do have Jeanette. Jeanette is new to our training. She is a brand new jeweler too, and so she hasn't been here yet, so y'all say hi to Jeanette. Hi. And then we have Jane. Now Jane came one other time back a few months ago. Jane is actually not in our Premier family at all, by those standards, okay? Jane is a jeweler here in the Beaufort area, and her Premier mom is in Pennsylvania. And so she was reaching out looking for a training, and so the way we work things around here is we don't care if we make money on you or not, we'll love on you the same. So Jane is here with some of her girls, if you'd like to introduce your girls.
Sherry and Octavia.
Nice to have y'all here with
And
us.
Sherry strained her back really bad, like 5 minutes before we had her over here, so she's not moving. She can't move. She's in a lot of pain. Yeah. So
Do you need a different chair to sit in? Something that's more? Okay.
Now getting up.
Okay, we'll help you. Well, we're not doing any high fives or running around the room, so you're good. Okay. Now, I do want to mention too, normally we do a big rah-rah awards and recognition and so forth. We're not doing that tonight, but we would like to just recognize everybody that did a show last year. Did you do a show last year?
Yep.
Pat yourself on the back. Do you plan on doing a show this year?
Yeah.
Yep. Pat yourself on the back. See, this is good. We're on the same page, okay? Now, we are going to do something fun. We've done this in the past, and this is one of those things that I didn't get to it today, so y'all just understand why it says 2013, okay? This is our top Diamond Diva board. We did this, and then of course our groups joined with Brooke, and it got a little crazy, so we took it back down for a while. We're gonna bring it back out again. So I know everybody loves to see their name in lights, right? Yes, y'all do. So you have an opportunity every month to have your name on this board. You can either have the most shows, the top retail, or the top sponsor. And so y'all work your business. You're going to go on here no matter whose group you are in. Okay? And then I'm going to have, the next time you come in here, you will actually see the tops for 2015. We'll have those, so you'll have the leaderboard up here. And Candy and I do not include ourselves in any of this, so it's all about y'all at our trainings. Okay? So you'll be on the Diamond Diva board. Okay? Alrighty, so
Jane, you have to send us your numbers and your girls.
Yeah, so make sure you send, because we want to make sure that everybody's getting recognized, okay? Now, who loved Rally? Woo! Okay, this is a time for us to spotlight some Rally highlights. So if you want to share something you learned, jump in. Anybody?
Well, I'll make a suggestion. If you weren't there, and Tammy did a great presentation on sponsoring, and I really love it. I think you need to, and Candy put it on YouTube, right? I think you need to do it.
You're famous now.
It was really good. It was really good. It made everything so simple and easy and just relaxed.
Well, thank you. I will tell you, it was weird watching myself back and listening to my accent.
You got into character.
I got into character.
You did.
I always sound different too.
Somebody will need to refresh me on who it was, but I really enjoyed listening again to the pre-show work. So it was top. Was it Brooke? Top retailing? No, who was it? Retailing. And so it talked about. I think that we all have I have an opportunity. I would imagine a lot of us could have an opportunity to improve our pre-show behaviors to make sure that we're capitalizing the most on it. And so it was just a good reminder of the basics that we should be doing. And just even some of the simple things that I think about for my own self, like I was saying hey to everybody when they came into the show, but I wasn't greeting them at the door. And so how much more of an impact would I have made of that first impression by walking up to them and saying hi, instead of just kind of being a little bit more shy.
Right. Another thing with doing that, okay, for anybody that's ever afraid at a show, anybody here is afraid? Okay, think about it this way. If you greet everybody at the door and you get to know them from that point, and you're at the table and you're dressing them up and you're talking to them, how much more comfortable will you feel when you go to do that show? It's not like you're just hanging out in the living room waiting on everybody to come on in. So get to know people, and it'll make things so much easier for you. And they feel more comfortable and welcomed, and they will enjoy themselves and probably book and buy and things like that. Okay, anybody else?
I think for me, my biggest takeaway personally was the ministry side of Premier. That's really where my heart is in Premier. It's really not about the money, which money is great, but it's really about enriching lives for me personally. And so the story that they gave about the pregnant woman who had committed suicide, for those of y'all who weren't
Can you
there.
come up here and share that? A little bit of that so everybody understands.
I can't. I might cry again. That was.
Hold it in there. Hold it in.
Yeah, that convicted me.
For those of y'all who weren't there, one of the jewelers gave a story, and it wasn't from her, but it was from another jeweler, so it was a true story. And basically what she was talking about was the importance of following up with women, and when women talk about their interest in the business or whatever it is, really recognizing that that could be kind of a divine appointment for you. And so I guess what had happened was this particular jeweler had these guest surveys, and like all of us do, a woman had marked that she was interested in the business, and she didn't call her back immediately. So months later, I guess it was, she went through her stuff and began to get excited and call people about the business again and saw this woman's number. And I guess she had called, and the husband answered and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I guess she didn't hear." She was pregnant with our first son, was really depressed about finances, couldn't make a car payment, and killed herself. She had committed suicide. So for that jeweler, I mean, I can't imagine what went through her mind, but for me personally, I took away, it really is divine appointments, and I need to take that more seriously and kind of stop being selfish to get myself out of the way, but recognize that this really is about enriching lives, and jewelry is just a tool to get into homes, you know? So that's for me what I took away.
Yeah, that was huge.
I think the fact that, you know, you pointed out kind of like, don't assume, don't judge. And so I think that would be a great idea, just to kind of get your mindset out and just share, be open. I also like the fact that, you know, there's no need, an opportunity. There's no, you know,
It's all about you.
yeah, and it's just, shown about, telling the story to get to know people, and just kind of being there for them.
Yeah, for those of you that did not attend Rally, it's one of those things every single year you want to make that a priority. And the Atlanta one is basically in our backyard. It's every January. And you always get to go and see, meet people, see the jewelry, have a great time, but you get to also see the meat of what Premier is. And so that's always a wonderful opportunity for you that I would never, ever miss. That's what I recommend. And then, of course, the bigger one is National in July. And if,
Yes.
and if you enjoyed Regional Rally with 1,000 people there, wait till you get in an arena with 8,000 to 10,000. Okay? So that is something that we can go ahead and start planning for now. If you have gotten information on the website, they talk about the RSVP. RSVP is basically a way to set money aside so that you can say you're saving money for Rally, okay? You're putting that money aside, and it's a savings plan that actually helps you earn free jewelry in the same. So every $50 you put into that account, Premier will give you a certificate for $15 towards jewelry when you go to Rally. You can only get it when you go to Rally. They do send you your money back. So the way I look at it, do you have a bank account that's going to earn you that type of interest?
Nope. And if you sign up by February 9th, you get an extra $50.
Yes. Yeah. So you can go in there and you can just set the parameter to, okay, take this much every month. They're going to put that money aside for you. They'll send it back to you to cover the expenses you're going to need for Rally. Rally typically costs between 5 and 6, depending on how many people stay in the room with you and what your airfare is. Okay? So we'll talk more about that later, but y'all put that on your list as one of your goals for this year, because you will never be the same once you go to that national rally.
Yeah, flights are under $2.
Tell you. With gas prices going down, it is good for airfare too, so yeah.
181.
Okay, the other big thing is what they just announced. If y'all have been in tune to it,
Woohoo!
get in the game. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay, so Premier just announced a really awesome opportunity for you. I'm not going to call it a challenge. I'm going to call it an opportunity, because sometimes when we hear the word challenge, you get nervous. You don't want to do it. Oh, I can't do that. You put your walls up and all that stuff. This is an opportunity for you to earn free jewelry if you want it. Okay? And everybody has an opportunity to earn either a quarter of the new line, a half of the new line, or you can get the full line, depending on what your personal goal is for yourself. Okay? And this is what I love about it. Based on which one you want, you go for that. And if you get that, then you hit a home run. You've done what you wanted to do. Now, in past, I would have gone for the gold on every single thing I do, because that's who I am. But you know, I had it really hard last year. Very hard last year. And I hit my wall at the end of the year. And God's been working on me the whole time, saying, you just got to slow down. And it's not just about Premier and pushing Premier. That's how I am in my life. I push in everything that I do to the point where I have nothing of me left. And God's been working on me. I can't do that anymore. I can't do that. And yeah, financially is the reason I've always pushed, but God's going to take care of my financial needs. I don't have to do it that way. And the reason I share that with you is don't compare yourself to people. There's a lot of people that look at me and say, I can never do that. Well, if you don't need to do it, don't do it. You do what works for you. And for me this year, I'm not going to set that goal to go get that full line. I know I could get it if I wanted it. I know darn good and well I could. And the Lord may still bless me with it if I just continue to follow what He's doing and He increases my retail, that I don't have to do as much, but I make really good money. I don't know. But I'm following Him. So I'm telling you, for me, when I sign this sheet, I'm going to say I'm going for the half. And I'm not going to be ashamed of it, because that is within my limits, to keep me personally balanced within my life, my family, and what I'm doing here. And I'm listening to what God's telling me. So I'm going to pass this around. And if you are interested in doing this at all, I want you to put your name in one of these, whichever one you want. And what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate something really fun to help you. As leaders, our job is to not just be about us, it's about y'all. And we want to help you to accomplish whatever your goals are. So fill yourself in one of these, and we're going to put some teams together, and we're going to have coaches. Your designers are going to be the coaches. And as a coach, we are not going to be giving you assignments that you got to go and do this many of whatever. Y'all have life, okay? We get that.
Can we pick team names like New York Mets and New York
You
Giants?
can do exactly what you want. You can do exactly what you want. We're going to get into all those details later, but for now, we want to know who wants to participate and what level you want to work at, because we're going to divide up the teams so that they're even. And then our goal as a coach is to coach you specifically to get to where you want to be. And if you win, you get your home run. Okay? And then we'll do something fun with a team that ends up getting the most runs, we'll say. Okay? So I'm going to pass this around. Pick out whatever works for you and fill it in. And we'll go from there with that. All right. Shirley, you want to come on up and do our devotion and prayer time before we get started? No, are you? I'm sorry. I told her Steve or whoever. You have your own. Okay. You got your own devotion. What? You got your own devotion?
Oh, I am. Okay. Well, I read mine today too, but it was early. Well, I guess I'm doing the devotion. I actually did read Joan's devotion before I came because I wanted to see if it was relevant, and it completely wasn't relevant, so that's fine. I was like, how can I work something in? I was really thinking, I'm a talker, that's my personality. This is like my comfort zone. But lately, the Lord's really just like closed my mouth a lot. In a lot of different settings where I normally can just write speeches and all this kind of stuff, I've really just listened more. And so I've really been thinking about what I wanted to talk about tonight, and I only have a few minutes, but there's two sides to it. One of them is the more personal side, and one is the business side. So we'll do the business side first, because that's a little bit more lighthearted. So the one thing the Lord's been speaking to me about, and I posted the video on the Dewberry Facebook page, but basically it was just a short clip, and it was actually a pastor, a woman pastor, and she was talking about how essentially when you believe in something, it creates excitement. And so for me, I recognize that my lack of excitement in my premier business recently is for my lack of belief. Like, I don't believe that she's going to book, or I don't believe that it's going to grow, or I don't believe she's going to sign, or whatever it is. And for me, I'm not going to get into too much because I've been crying every day for I don't even know how long, and I don't want to be emotional, so I wore non-waterproof mascara on purpose so that I'll hold it in. But for me, the past year has been really troubling personally in my marriage. And I don't compartmentalize well. Some women do. Some women can compartmentalize, this is my marriage life, this is my mother life, this is my work life. For me, everything's very intertwined. I'm a very deep person. So everything runs parallel. So my business this past year, I finished my undergrad last year, which is why I initially stopped, but my business has suffered because I suffered. And this is an emotional business. I haven't felt like giving because I've had nothing to give. And I talked to you about that. Candy would try to encourage me, and I would say, Candy, I have nothing. There's nothing to pour out. And one thing that the Lord's been dealing with me recently, very recently in the past few months, is learning how to, he keeps telling me, you have to learn how to rise above your feelings. If you're going to be successful, you have to rise above your feelings. And it's like the Bible verse that talks about the thorn in the side, right? That we all have a thorn in the side, like Paul said, we have an affliction, and we have to constantly rely on God's strength. Everybody's is different. For some people, maybe it's physical illness. For some people, it's financial. For me, it's my marriage. It's the one thing that's not in my control that I can't fix no matter how much I cry or pray. It's just out of my control. And so what the Lord is trying to teach me in my own business, because the first year, for those of you who don't know me, I was very successful in my premier business. I hit every goal, walked for whatever, everything. This past year has been a struggle, and so what the Lord is trying to teach me personally, and maybe it will inspire you, is to rise above my feelings. To understand that by pouring out, I will myself be filled. And so that's what I have to do. Instead of saying, I'm going to cower because I'm struggling with this and I have nothing to give, by putting myself out there and trusting the Lord to fill me, I will essentially be filled when I pour out. And so and Candy encouraged me in that. She was like, you do have something to offer. That's your happy place, is to contribute to other women. And it is. That's my passion. And so if I can encourage you through my own personal struggle, there's seasons in Premier, and I think that when we get into a really hard season, we just want to give up. This is God ordained for me and for you. And so if I can encourage you in one thing, it would be not to allow whatever that personal struggle is for you. For me, it's my marriage, but all of us have that one thing to hold you back or to allow you to say, I have nothing to offer. Because we are in this for a reason, we do have something to offer. And I guess that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I'll pray. I'm going to pray too. All right. Jesus, we love you, Lord, and We thank you, God, that even when we aren't faithful, Lord, you are faithful to us, Father. We thank you, Lord, that in the darkest days that you are in control and that your light always shines through. I pray, God, over every woman in this room right now, Holy Spirit, that you would fill us with your divine purpose, your will, and your plan for not only our premier businesses, but for our personal lives, God. I pray that we would bow to you in everything that we do, Lord, and that you would fill our lives with your joy and your mercy and your hope, that we might overflow to those women that you divinely place in our lives on a daily basis. We love you, and it's in your name we pray. Amen. Thanks, ladies. I almost fell
All
down.
right, anybody else need to clean that? Okay. Well, all right, now we're going to get into some fun training stuff. I'm excited about that. Okay. So, we're going to talk about getting your business organized. So if you want to take out pen and paper, do some notes. So I'm going to go through some real quick things for you, and then we're going to have Jane jump in. She's got some awesome stuff to talk to you about. What I wanted to talk to you about is when you are trying to do your business, of course, you can't have a business if you don't have any shows, and you're not putting that as a priority for yourself. So you have got to give yourself some time. And one of the things that most people struggle with, I too have found myself there, is finding that balance of when to do things, when to do everything. And I'm going to tell you, I've been across the board in different circumstances, so I can probably identify with most everybody in the room. I started Premier with a full-time job, so I've done that. I've gone through pregnancy through Premier. I've gone through having a young child going to everything. I've gone through heartache and difficult times and having to press on, just like Shirley talked about. It's not easy when you feel like you have nothing left, but when you know that your family depends on it, you have to rise above that feeling and just do it. So I've been in just about every one of the circumstances, and so I'm going to just share that based from my heart that you are able to do this in everything. You just have to want to do it. Okay, so if you want to do it, I want you to sit down, and I want you to think about what is going to work for you, first of all, as far as show dates. Okay, you need to talk to your family, see what's going to be good for you, and then identify those dates and put that on the calendar. Okay? So those are the times that you are going to work your Premier business outwardly. All right? And so then you need to find the balance of, okay, well, those are going to be my show dates. How am I going to work my business? Otherwise, to book my calendar, to follow up with my people, to talk to jewelers if I have them, to do my laundry, to go do grocery shopping, to do my bills. Okay. So as wives and mothers, we have all of those other things that just can't go by the wayside. We still have to do them, okay? So Candy had helped me years ago. I was up against that wall when I was working my full-time jobs, just started Premier. I couldn't find a balance. I didn't know when to do what. And it wasn't because there was so much to do. I was just looking at it all the wrong way. Now, I did do my business in the nooks and crannies, and I encourage y'all to do the same. If you have a busy schedule, don't be overwhelmed. Work it in the nooks and crannies, and just have a plan for yourself of when you're going to do it. So when she and I talk, she says, okay, find some days that work well for you. So what I do now is on Mondays, that is my big calendar day because it's the beginning of the week. I want to make sure everything's in order. So on Monday, I am doing most of my Premier work that day. I will sit down with my calendar. I will look and see what I need to do. And this was even when I had a full-time job. It would just be that I did it later in the day. Okay? So Monday would be my calendar day, so I will make my phone calls to anybody to try to make sure that they are all set. I would send email responses for the week, things like that. Make sure my calendar is set and everything that is on the calendar for that week that I needed to do is arranged and taken care of. Okay, so that's what my Monday would be about. And then I go into the next part of my business week is Wednesday, and that's when I do all of my replacement exchanges. Now I do 100 shows a year, so you can imagine I got a lot of replacement exchanges. And so that is a very productive part of my business, and I have to set a time to do it. Now, even if you're not doing a lot of returns, you're going to get them. Okay, it's part of your business. And instead of being overwhelmed by it and think, oh gosh, here comes another one, set yourself a day. You don't touch it until that day. And then that day you take care of whatever you have. Okay? So that helps a lot. Now, one of the things I got, that Wednesday is also the day that I do my bills, so it's a fun day. Okay, so I set that time aside. I'm taking care of all the bills and stuff for our family. But one of the things that Brooke talked about on Friday night of rally was that finding that balance. And she went through every single day of what she does each day, and I just thought, whoa, that's enlightening. Okay, y'all, I'm 8 years into this now. See, I can still learn things too. Okay? But she had like, this day I will make downline phone calls. So that day is devoted to when will she talk to her jewelers. And for me, okay, that I'll be honest with you, I have a lot of first level jewelers, and I feel like I never, I can't devote as much attention to you as I would like. So y'all just bear with me, okay? Y'all know I love you. I'm always sending texts and emails and shout outs, so y'all know I love you. But anyways, if you have a dedicated time to do that, well then that's the day that you do that. She also has a dedicated window of when she makes calls to promote her business. And when she's doing this, she will work unplugged. Okay, how many of y'all are in the Facebook window and it's like beep, beep, oh, let's see what's going on. Anybody need me? Look for that flashing light. Want to feel wanted? Turn it off. Okay, turn that off. When that is that devoted time that you're doing your business calls, even if it is a 30-minute window, turn everything else off and that be your dedicated time. So if you do this, you have a dedicated time to find your business. You have a dedicated time to work your business through emails and things like that. You have a dedicated time to talk with your people. You have dedicated time to do the things in your household. It will flow a whole lot easier and you will not feel as overwhelmed. Okay? That doesn't mean you're not going to have something come in there and pull the rug out from underneath you. But if you have something to start with, that is going to be a whole lot easier for you. So try to find those days that you're going to choose to work, what you're going to do on each of those days, and I promise you it'll go a whole lot smoother. Now I'm going to also show you something I've done for years. And when I talked to Jane, I reached out to Jane because I don't know a whole lot about her, but I know she's successful. So I wanted to bring some of that in here. And what she does is awesome. I really liked what she had to say, so I certainly wanted y'all to see this. And I'm just going to highlight on what I do. For my jewelers that have been around for a long time, Karen, Kelly, y'all know it's the same system. I'm just going to briefly go over my same calendar control system, okay? Because we don't all learn the same. We don't all get it the same. You want to have options, okay? So I will quickly show you my option, and we'll send you home with something. That way you can actually put it down if that's the way you want to go. And then I'm going to let Jane get into the meat of hers because I really like it, okay? So what I do, it's called calendar control, so I have this little system, and I will email this out to everybody. But it's basically, from the moment you book a show, what do you do after that? And mine is more or less a list that you're going to add to your calendar. Because I feel like if you get it out of you, throw it up on your calendar, it's not all up in here wondering if you've done it yet. So I typically will book that show tonight, come home. The next day I will sit down on my calendar and I will write on my calendar what I'm going to do. I will put the whole show and every step I need to do on my calendar because I choose calendar as the easiest way. I'm in the calendar every day. So know what I have to do. Okay, and as busy moms, you can only imagine when you've got a lot going on like that, you want to know, do I have 10 things to do today or do I have 2? Because that makes it a whole lot easier, you know. So this is quickly what I do. I come home and I will take my calendar, my written calendar, and if you'll see, I've got pink spots. Those are days that I would do shows. So I would go through my calendar already and have it highlight the dates I'm going to do a show, just like I told you. Whatever dates you want to work your shows, you have to put them on your calendar so you know if it's empty, you need to be on the phone. All right, so those are those days. But I also use the daily agenda. Okay, this is where the rest of this comes in. I know it's all empty, but just because I haven't put everything on there, y'all, I've had a little bit of time. But what you would normally see here is you got to do this that day and this that day and so forth. And that's what I'm going to show you here so that I don't have everything I have to do in that little square. I have everything I have to do on the day it needs to happen. Okay? So this is what I do. This is your calendar, and so we're just going to mark it off real quick. And it's extremely simple. And what I do is going to cost you 5 minutes of your day. Okay? It's going to look like a lot, but it costs you 5 minutes. Okay? All right, so let's say we have a show booked. It's going to be, let's see, February. What's the first day on?
Monday. First is on a Monday.
Monday.
Okay, y'all are saying Monday, sorry. Okay, so that's the first All right, so I'm going to say that I have a show on the first 8, 15, 26. And we've actually got a 29, 50, but all right, so I'm going to have a show here. So what I would do is on my calendar, I'm going to write Susie show. Okay, there we go. That's on there. Now, then I would open up my book and find a date. So obviously I can't show y'all both month and day on this thing. So we're going to pretend like this is the daily calendar. All right. So I'll have my show, and I'm going to go back 2 days, and I'm going to put Susie reminder call. So that day I know that I'm calling her to touch base about her show. And then I'll go 2 weeks above her, and I will do Susie send invitations. Okay. So I know 2 weeks out, that's the day I have to send invitations. And then I do 1 week prior to that, and this is when I hostess coach her, so it says HC. All right? So that's what I do when I get home from a show. If I booked 1 show, put it on there. If I booked 4 shows, I put them all on there. Okay? So now, when I get up tomorrow, I look at my date and go, oh, I have to hostess coach her. And hostess coach means she will have her hostess packet. I will walk her through everything, get all that stuff out. Sending invitations is obvious. Reminder call is going through the final tips. Now, when I do all of those things, the difference with this is it's not just an activity. I follow it with an email, and it's an email that gives them all kinds of tips for both of those. Because not everybody retains things the same. They also like to have something in writing, or perhaps you couldn't get them on the phone, so it's in writing, and they have everything to help them with the tips and all about their show to keep them focused on how much free they can get. So that's how I do my calendar. I've been doing it for 7 years. And the reason I started that was after my first year of business, I thought, you know, oh, they're so excited. They're going to hold their show. They'll get me their guest list. Not. So when I do my shows, I send out a commitment letter as soon as I book that show. It thanks them for letting me do the show with them and so forth. It says, I need your guest list within a week, blah, blah, blah. And they look at it like, wow, she means business. She's serious because of that commitment letter, you know. And I've had a lot of people over the years talk about these letters that they get while you were so on top of things. And what you send is just everybody. Abby, you can say that because Abby was a hostess for 3 years before she turned it on, decided to come on over to the other side. But, you know, so they're seeing those things, and the more on top of things is the customer service you can give. It always helps to increase your business, okay? So I'm doing all of that and sending that email. And then what I also do is after that show is over, I will go back to my calendar and I will put 2 weeks out from when their jewelry was shipped, because they give us a shipping notice, right? They'll give us a shipping notice. So I will email my customers and hostess, says, thank you so much. Your jewelry's on the way. It goes through the whole thing of how much she got free, how much money I made, and how the opportunities for you. They get all that. Everybody knows it's coming. I'm released of any liability. I did not steal your money. Okay? And then it tells them exactly when their hostess has it. So that's really good, but I'll follow it with a 2-week thing that says jewelry call. It's JC is what I call it, but it's a jewelry care call where I call all the people at the show and say, hey, just wanted to check, make sure you like your jewelry, everything going okay with you, so wonderful to serve you. And then I do a month out from that, and I'll call it guarantee call, and I will email everybody and say, just wanted to touch base, make sure everything's going good. We're within our last few days of your golden guarantee window. Anything I can help you with to save you the $5. So all of that is from beginning to end, how I work things. And because I put it in a system like that, I don't have to think about it until I see it that day. The only other part of it that I do, I talked to you about Mondays, that I do everything calendar-wise on Mondays. That Monday, I send an email to everybody on my calendar, whether they are 2 weeks or 6 months out. And I will say, hey, happy Monday. Just checking on you. Just wanted to touch base and let you know I still need your guest list. And even if your show's months away, I want to go ahead and get it so we can get you confirmed. And I send that every single Monday. Now, what does that do? Does it get on their nerves? I don't know. But it's my job to help them remember, not their job to remember. And that helps me to stay in front of them, especially when it's months out. I'm always requesting that guest list, and I tell them, I need your guest list. As we get closer to the show, I'll say, I need your guest list no later than 1 month prior to your show in order to keep you confirmed. These are typically the ladies that are booked way out, not somebody that just showed up and we got a show in 2 weeks. But for those ladies, I'm always sending that reminder. So as we get closer and I tell them that, if they don't respond, I will kindly send them a notice saying urgent, about to cancel your show. Because I want to control my calendar. I don't want them controlling me. And so by doing that, you'll either get a response back, oh, I'm so sorry, I will get your guest list right over, I'm so sorry, it's been crazy. Get it, I got it. Okay, great. Or you could say, I'm so sorry, life has been crazy, I'm not going to be able to hold my show, and guess what you can do? Rebook it. My first year of business, I thought they would give me that guest list. We're 2 weeks, we're 10 days, we're 7 days. So we can still pull something together. We ain't having that show. Okay? And I could have booked that date. So take your control of the calendar. Don't let them control you. It is your business, and if you work it like a business, you will be paid like a business. Okay? And you will have a lot less cancellations because of it. All right, Jane, come on up here, and do you need this at all?
No, I don't need that. I'm good. I got a couple, don't think like I've got all the stuff I got to do, but I did bring my apparatus. Okay. Because I think I mean, again, everybody has their own way of being organized, right? So you're going to have to figure it out, but she's going to give you an idea. I'm going to give you my idea of what kind of works for me, and then you may have something that works for you. But I do want to touch a little bit on what Shirley said. You know, I think for someone who's coming in new to Premier, and I've really been in it just a little bit over a year, Premier is so much more than retail and jewelry. You know, Shirley, you got to understand. I see you standing up here, and so many of us, we're all in the same boat. You know what I mean? And so we all have to reach out to each other and pray, because I too have had marital issues. I too have had, my father's got full-blown dementia right now. My family's breaking apart. You know, it's just so much. We have so much in our lives, but we've got to stay together. And you've got to share. We've got to pray. We've got to reach out to each other. Nobody's in this thing alone. We're mothers, we're women, we're servants of God, and we're all there. You know, I feel your hurt and your pain, and know that I will be praying for you. And you know, and I'm here for you, okay? Because you're not alone. You know. Really quickly, let me tell you how I got into Premier, okay? Obviously, I'm not from here. I'm from Alabama, if you want to believe that, but no. I got in Premier about a year. September was a year, okay? But I got into Premier. I've been coaching gymnastics well over 35 years. I was down in LaGrange for a long time. Had my own business, 2 different businesses, a gymnastics school and a cheerleading school. So I've been in that business entrepreneur area for a long time. Went through a divorce, moved up here and married my husband. And I have 3 kids, an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 13-year-old. And, you know, with coaching gymnastics, you leave at 3 o'clock and you're gone all night long, and they're walking in the door. And I just thought, you know, I love my kids. I live for them. I love them. I want to be home with them, you know. So I was praying for about 2 years. I was just saying, Lord, you've got to give me something that I can stay at home, work around their schedules. I financially raise them 100% by myself with no help, so I have to work. And my sister-in-law's best friend, Lisa Werner, who's in Pennsylvania, gave me a call one day and talked me through the whole marketing plan. And I thought, oh my gosh, I said, Lord, you know, this is what you want me to do. I'm going to be all right. I don't wear jewelry. I don't know anything about jewelry. I'm not really comfortable in front of people, but let me think about this, you know. So I love God. I love God. I live for God every breath of every one of my days, whether it's with my children, the person at the grocery store, my jewelers, my husband. I love God. And, you know, Shirley, when you love God so much, you feel weary and tired. But we got to remember, He died for us, right? And sometimes I really I get into a place where I shouldn't be, because I feel like, well, if He died for us, then Lord knows I should be able to survive what I'm going through today. But we're human. You know, we are human. You know, we got to feel that pain too. But anyway, so I needed help financially, but I loved God, and I knew if I was going to serve Him through being a Premier jeweler, I was going to be all right. Everything was going to work out. I may not get that jewelry sold that night. I may not get that booking, but like Tammy said before, you know, Premier's not going to provide us with that financial help. God's going to provide us. And we have to trust God. We have to trust, no matter what the turmoil is, that we're going to make it. You know, and at the end of the day, when I lay down at night, and I knew I served Him well, whether I'm back behind on a bill, or my husband and I weren't agreeing right, or my kids were all over the place, if I knew I served Him the best I could when I laid down at night, all was good. You take a deep breath, you sleep, you thank Him for the day, and you look forward to the next day, waking up, being a Premier jeweler, and serving Him. It's going to be all right. You know, it is. Okay? So I'm going to tell you how I try to stay organized. I love, really, I am pretty organized, I gotta tell you, I am, but maybe things don't work out, but I'm still gonna stay organized. Okay, so, a couple of things. If you notice, Tammy and I had like the same calendar, right? Okay. So, the first thing I tell my jeweler, when they decide to sign on, is they get a calendar. I don't care what calendar, get a calendar. Before I meet with them, they have to have all their family activities in the calendar, their church activities, their job activities, everything has to be written down 3 months out for that, because Premier is about God first, family second, business third. So your business, and trust me, I have a lot of financial needs, has to work around your family. It cannot interfere with your family. God and family has got to come first. So, so let's see here. So, and it's kind of the same. Like what I do, this was last year. What I do is I fill out all my kids' stuff. Trust me. 3 kids, violin, music, church, tennis, this and the other thing. I also coach tennis. I fill it out. And then I do a little bit different. When I go to a show, which I'm going to tell you how I go from booking a show to here, is I'll have these spaces in green where I feel like I want to do a show, you know, and then I'll let my future hostess kind of pick a day and time that looks good. And she's right. You know, we can't let Premier's about customer service. I mean, any great business, any great story is about customer service. That's the bottom line, okay? So we want to serve our customers and our hosts as well. But she's right. We can't let them run our life, okay? So and with all these little green spots, somewhere in there, they got to find a night and a day that they like, okay? All right. So this is going to be right from checkout with the survey, and I've got 3 bookings, okay? Tammy, do you guys use these? Tammy, do you use these?
I don't use that.
Okay. All right. So this is something probably from my Premier Mom, but I bought copies. Okay. So the first thing I do at checkout with my future hostess is I ask her, we pick a date and time, and I ask her to fill out this hostess information card. It gives everything, address, email, text, everything, show date, show time. So let's see if I have enough. We're going to pass these around because I printed out a lot. So I want to give you anything that may be able to help, and then we're going to go to the next part. So let's hand these around. If it works, if you want to use it, great. If not, you just put it in your file. Somebody else will use it.
I can copy more if you need to copy.
Yeah, I think I did maybe 10 or 12, but this is the key that I'd love for them to get. Okay, I developed this on my own because this is what helps me stay on top of things as a jeweler. And I'm going to pass it around. It's called my show tracking sheet. And I use this when I get jewelers too. But it's a lot shorter because there's not as much. So let's go ahead and hand one of these around, and then we'll start working through that together. And everybody's got one of these. Let's pass these around. Hopefully everybody's going to get one, because this is the thing I really want to follow. Then if you'd like to get one of the hostess information cards, you can get one of those too. And I think the hostess information card was a Lisa Werner thing, my Premier Mom, but this definitely is what I developed on my own to help me. Okay, is everybody ready? All right, so this is how we do it. So I just left my show, and I have my booking on my calendar, and it's highlighted. Now I move to this. What I have at home is I have 2 folders. And I'm going to take you all the way to closing out to retail. I have a folder that says shows coming. So my tracking sheet goes in this folder with shows coming. And then behind it is going to be my hostess information card. So I may have 6 behind it, okay, for January and February, okay? And I just have 2 folders put together. Behind that so this is shows coming. And then this little tab's going to say, shows still open. So, for instance, after I leave my show, that's going to go right here now, okay? Because it's still open and it's not closed yet. Okay, so so now, let's follow on the show tracking. So I get home, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll just put January on the side here, okay, or February, the month, okay? But I'll put Mary Smith. And Mary Smith booked today, January 19th, so I put that there. Then I put her show date, okay? Then, the next day, I wake up, and I just send her a quick little email or text saying, thank you so much for booking. I appreciate it. It was wonderful. Maybe remember something that you noticed about her, okay, that you're excited about her show. But you want to put the date. It's the date that you thanked her for booking, okay? Now, sometimes you'll have your packets at your show that you hand them to, and you could put that right there too. But lots of times what I do is I go home, I set up a nice packet and a nice envelope with a cover letter, and I send her the packet, okay? So I put the date on that. I wait about 3 days, and then I give her a phone call, and I follow up from my packet. And I explain to her everything that's going on with the show, what the goals are, how many, just talk to her, how many people you're thinking about having, what would you love to get out of the jewelry, show. So we just talk about everything, what she can do to maximize her show retail. Now remember, as a jeweler, your business survives 2 ways. If it's about meeting a financial need, right? You need to have high retail. Okay, so in this review here, after getting the packet, in order to get high retail, you have got to coach your hostess pre-show, which means it's those pre-orders before the show, before you get to the show, okay? Because of course, the higher the retail, the more you're going to make that night to meet your financial needs, okay? The other way your business is going to continue going on is those bookings, okay? So you have 2 goals that night, okay? It's the bookings, that keeps your business going. It's the retail, coaching your hostess to meet your financial needs. Okay, so then what I'll do is after I follow up with her, okay, and this is the thing, you have to have your calendar. This is a little bit different than Tammy's is because she's placed where she wants to do all that, okay? But I have my calendar every day. I just look at it, and of course I have my folder, okay? So if Mary Smith books a show 3 weeks out, okay, then I'm going to decide on the calendar where I want to do my email invite. Now, I'm not sure, I send out a save the date through email, okay? It's a cover letter. It's a save the date invite where I email to my hostess about 3 weeks before her show, and she forwards it, okay, to everybody as far as the save the date. So then I put that there. Okay, then I usually wait about another 2 days. I don't want to bug the hostess, okay, but I want to make sure we're on task for her to have a great show. Okay, I keep in touch with them a lot, okay? So then I'll send them an email just saying, hey, did you send your save the dates out? Is there anything I can do for you? If you want to give me anybody else you want me to send it to, I will. Looking forward to your show. This is going to be so much fun. I can't wait. Okay, can I get your guest list? Okay, I like the guest list like 2 weeks for myself before. I like to send out the premiere invite 2 weeks before the show, okay? So then I write the date again when I got her guest list. Then do you do premiere invites? Yes. Okay, good. Then I go on and I send out my premiere invite, and I'm just dating everything, okay? After the invites are sent out, then I'm going to send her another text. Usually now I'm moving into text. But the closer we get to the show, then I start moving into text and not emails because it's quick stuff they got to hear, Reminder, hey, don't forget to try to get those outside orders. If someone's not able to make it, get them a catalog. People that are out of state, just contact your family, give them the website, get yourself as much jewelry as you can before the show. This is going to be great. I can't wait. Just a lot of excitement for them because, believe it or not, you may be nervous as a jeweler. They're nervous as a hostess. They are. Believe it or not, they're worried. Come, I'm going to feel bad if my jeweler comes here and there's only 2 people here. So they're worried too. So you got to make them feel excited and relaxed. Okay, so last minute, day before. No, actually, I'm going to send this around, but I was talking to my jewelers, but I use pic collage a lot, okay? And I text, you can just send around quick, but I set up a pic collage for my hostess with a cute little text saying, forward this, text this to all your friends today, remind them of the show tonight. So I don't have to pass it on, but if you want to see it, I make it and I just text it. So it's really cute, and then they can send it through texting to their friends. Okay, so the day of the show, I put the date there. Okay, now, a lot of people, I know my premiere mom sits down at the end of the night and kind of breaks down what the hostess has made that night. I don't do that. I don't know. I usually do that when I get home and then contact them, because what's happened to me a lot is there's usually more orders coming in within a week after the show. So I pretty much talk to her about when is the day you'd like to close out the show. And then I put the date right there for closeout, the attempted closeout. Okay, so after we close out the show and I log it into the computer, I send her another thank you, whether it's a text, whether it's an email, and with the attempted date of when the jewelry should come, okay? All right, now I also put a rebook in here. My goal, of course, at the end of all this is to get her to rebook, okay? So we get a date in there. She's going to do it 6 months out. Then, of course, I find out when the jewelry is received. And then I always put the retail, the total retail show, and at my 50%. So this is not only tracking to keep up with your hostess, but then, of course, it gives me an idea of what's going on in my life, to a certain degree. All right, so, and then, like I said, as I'm tracking this after the show, I've got her orders, her show still right in here, with the purchase orders and whatever else I need to have in there. After that is done, I have this. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of you may have this, but this is pretty much 2015. I take the receipt, I take the hostess card form, I take all the purchase orders, I take their invite list because they either emailed it to me or somehow I staple it together, and it's in order from January, February, March, April, May, June, and this is where I file those. And now this year, I'm going through all these, and I'm going into my shows, and I'm looking at the purchase orders and finding people that have ordered 6 pieces of jewelry and never had a show. And now they're getting pic collages saying, hey, I just want to know if you're still enjoying your jewelry. This is what's going on in January. This is going on in February. I'd love to get you some free jewelry. Let's have a ladies' night out. But that's where right now, if I don't have a lot of bookings, I'm going back to. I'm going to go find people that, for whatever. And then at the same time, I also have a fold with people that canceled and didn't rebook, and so I'm going back to them. I think sometimes we feel like the pushy. Okay? But this company is a serving company. We are called to serve God. We are called to enrich lives and make a difference in people's lives. So when I go into a home, my goal is to keep my eyes out for somebody that's needing the Lord. It's not so much about a piece of jewelry. I'm trying to make contact, and I can see, I can feel the Lord working through me with these people. They need us. That's why we're in this company. Okay, we're in it for, we are, believe it or not. If you go to Raleigh and you go to National, you're going to realize you are in this company for a bigger reason than trying to meet your financial needs and jewelry. We love the jewelry. You know what I mean? It's great jewelry. Okay, so one other thing that I think, this is totally outside, this is personal, more personal organization, but when I first started, I used this every day. Okay, or every month, and this is your quick start 6, 9, 12 rookie team. This kept me focused on my goals. I have goals for my hostess every time, and I go in there and all I want to do is get her as much free jewelry as possible, But this was mine. Okay, so this, and you all get it in your box. This needs to stay within your calendar, and you need to open it. And just look at it. It gets exciting when there's these little charms out of there, It's just like, wow, man, I want to get $100 certificate and free jewelry, cool, So for yourself and staying organized, keep this right there in your calendar. And then the only other thing I was going to, now I bought this just now, okay, because I had one last year and it was so darn confusing to me. I was just like, golly, all these circles and just stuff, and And so I was trying to figure out, well, can I work this with a regular Walmart calendar? You know, that's what I was trying to figure out. And my folder system here, and I really believe it does. And if you guys haven't seen them yet, I'm sure you have, but I think I'm going to give it a shot. You know, because the one thing I like about it is you can track the number of shows that you have, you know, with these little circles here. And then, of course, this keeps you focused on your goals, too. Okay, now I know how many shows I need a month to provide for my children, okay, but this is a little bit more detailed, so I'm actually going to try to go with this instead of the one you and I have.
No, I just got that one too.
I did too. So did I. This is my first year using
I
it.
think I'm going to give it a shot, okay, so, and this is just all compact, everything is in there, from goals to lists to, you know, all these things we just talked about. Okay, one last thing. Pick collage is great. Okay, it's really good. It's good for texting. And my daughter is actually, she wants to have a jewelry party. She's wanted to have a jewelry party. She's been very involved in it. She's 13 since I started. So we're having a mother-daughter jewelry party in 2 weeks. But this is the same thing with pick collage, okay? You have to get creative. You have to go outside the box. If, you know, when you're short a show that you want to have a month, you got to start reaching out. You got to start thinking deep. What do I need to do to get that last show, okay? But we did this through pick collage, and then we made little invitations. And this is how she's going to hand it to her friends, okay? But the last thing I want to tell you, again, what I was just saying about this is, when you're short shows, like it's just not happening, okay? And I started last September, and I excelled very quickly. And then I had personal problems, family problems. My father's sick, also my husband's sick, all this stuff, and everything stopped. And the emotional stress, I don't blame anybody, okay, for my business slowing down. I don't. But what happens is it takes emotionally the motivation, the drive, the happiness, the fun. And when I was in that place, I realized, oh my gosh, I need to be where I was, because that's what got me through those days, okay? So when you're feeling short of a show or something, you got to reach deep. Like I coach tennis, and there's tennis matches at our community all the time. I drove down one day, opened up my trunk, put all the jewelry out there. I got 2 bookings and some sales, you know what I mean? I went to my dentist's office and said, hey, can I come over and do a jewelry show after hours for you? Yeah, sure. So you got to stop thinking. It's not going to be just hostess going to their house, you know, or even a fundraiser. You got to start thinking more. Okay, getting outside the box and how you can meet if it's financial needs, like I'm saying, if you're having fun and you don't need to meet that, then that's fine too, but I'm sure you want to, you know, get some jewelry out there, but you have to think beyond the shows to meet your needs. Okay? Is that good, Tammy?
That's awesome.
Okay.
Woohoo!
That's it.
We're excited to have you. Good stuff.